that people do at this time of year, and one of the rarely spoken about is reading and the compilation of book lists. Well, a book that came out this month and is not too late to include in your list is You Are Never Alone by Criselda Dudumashe. The well-known radio personality and activist says that she started writing the book almost 10 years ago after she was diagnosed with HIV. And in it, she documents the pain, the disappointments, and the life experiences as well as challenges that she's faced. But most importantly, she believes that she can reach out to people who've also gone through some similar emotions. She joins us now in studio. Criselda, always a pleasure to meet you. I know we sort of catch up with each other at various functions and events and often at work. But you've really become, over the years, can I use the word poster girl, but I suppose ambassador as a face for HIV and how to live with it and overcoming some of the challenges associated with it. So this book, what is it? Is it a diary? How would you describe it?
This book, in a way, takes away that poster girl of HIV, replaces it with poster girl of life and living, and acknowledging every journey, every situation that you go through, that you're never alone. We need to get to a place where we start paying attention to some of the things that draw us back from the people that we're supposed to be, the potential that you have as a human being. And once we get in touch with that reality of ourselves, then we begin to live.
So, we said that you started writing this about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What were you writing? Did you think it was going to be a book, or were you just kind of reflecting on your experiences as time passes?
Yeah, there was, Peter, giving people advice that when you have emotions that you can't deal with, that you don't understand, or people that you want to address but are too scared to confront them, write it down, write a letter to them. And I began to write those letters to people that I wanted to say things to. But at the time, the environment was not okay for me to have those conversations. And, little did I know that it was actually a book. And here we are today.
All right, so take us through this journey that you've been through. I guess over time the stigma has perhaps come down a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's disappeared by any stretch of the imagination. And it's almost this secrecy to it, and yet you chose to come out and really share this with people. That must have been a difficult step.
It was, in a way, when something that's meant to happen to you happens, you don't even think about what are the consequences. If I start talking about my HIV journey, how are people going to judge me? I never had a moment to think about that, because I'm sure if I had, like many South Africans, I would have perhaps just thought maybe people will discriminate against me, they'll judge me, therefore not speak. But this book focuses, it's about a 13-chapter journey where I reflect on my childhood, the fact that at one stage in my life I lived in the streets, the impact that my parents' divorce had on me, because these are things that we don't consider. Our children go through so much from the decisions that we make as adults. The journeyman continues to me being a teenage mom and how messed up I was as a teenage mother. Off camera, you and I were talking about some of these secrets that erode our families. And in a way, I'm getting families to begin. Every chapter is a reflection on things that we don't confront, we don't talk about in families. And unfortunately, I use the expression that it will undo the glue that binds us together, and communication will break down, and we become lesser human beings. We become hateful, we become hateful, and people who hurt others, they hurt themselves. I discovered through writing this book that in our family, we had a family history of postnatal depression, and nobody talked about it. My grandmother was 16 when she was married off. Great-grandmother was 15. My mom was 17 when she conceived me. I was 18 when I fell pregnant. And throughout, none of us as these women connected with our firstborn daughters. And I've had to confront that and break that generational curse, as I refer to it. And that my eldest daughter was 24 when she got married and had a baby son. Because, through generations, all these women were blessed with baby daughters as their first children and couldn't connect to them. They couldn't parent them because they themselves never had the motherly love that they needed.
All right, so many things sort of packed into this life of yours. Challenges, obstacles overcome. There have been great moments as well during this course. And in the end, this woman of substance has evolved. What would you say are the most important life lessons that you've learned in this journey?
It's actually the title of the book, Peter, that oftentimes we focus so much on the pain and the bad circumstances that you're faced with that you actually don't pay attention to people who are reaching out, trying to give you love, trying to extend a hand. Even the ones who are saying, I'm sorry. We can't hear their voices when we are in pain. And you are not alone is that reflection, that pay attention. In the midst of your pain, just take a step back and look at the people who are trying to just give you love, give you support. Because oftentimes we get so consumed by the pain and the circumstance that we lose the sense of what lessons are we supposed to learn. And to answer your question, through every chapter, through every journey, through every hurtful experience, there are lessons learned. And that's why you never break from circumstances or pain or hardship, but rather if you pay attention to what lesson you're supposed to learn, you walk away a bigger, greater person and you're able to teach others. And I look at me and marvel and in reflection on how God has been gracious in my life. And this is my gratitude in saying the lessons I've learned, no one should ever go through these lessons and journey not knowing that you actually are never alone at any given time.
We've run out of time, but I just want to make sure that people understand that this isn't a story about HIV.
No.
This is a human story, isn't it?
It's a human story, and getting families to begin to connect. And, someone was asking earlier on that why are you having this book released during the 16 days of no violence against women and children? And my answer to that was simply, it's time for us to, begin to learn, to put out there in the universe what it is that we want. Because oftentimes we talk about things we are against, but we don't talk about what we want. And I'm hoping through this book, we begin to reflect on things we don't want in our society, things that we don't want our daughters, our sons to grow up experiencing without knowing that actually you are better than your circumstances.
Oh, Criselda, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us. And an important book, I think, that all human beings can resonate with. Thank you so much for your time and good luck with the book.
Thank you for inviting me. Merry Christmas.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and when we come back, we'll have much more for you. Take care.